Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Tonight we are reviewing Black Ink Crew Season 9, Episode 3, Foot in That Sauce. Alright, if you are here for the first time, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with an entertaining twist and a little bit of laughter. If you are here for a second or third time and you have not yet hit the subscribe button, but you always watch my reviews, whether you search for them or they just pop up, then please go ahead and become a member of the Opinionated family. For those of you that are here for the first time, wait till the end, child, and then hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get into it. When the episode first opens up, we see Tati over at the house setting up some ground rules for her cousins. They're making a little chore chart so that these overgrown people can know that you need to clean up after yourselves, okay? So Tati was letting us know that her cousin died when she was younger, who is their mom, okay? And she decided that because they were split up with their dads, that when she got old enough to get a home, that she was going to put all of them together under one roof. And I thought that was really beautiful. Tati, that is some responsibility right there, okay? I love it. Tati is not actually my favorite person on Black Ink. I actually don't even really care for her. But I do like this storyline. I like where this is going. Let's keep it up, honey. Let's keep it up. Over in Jersey, Donna is cooking up a CBD feast, y'all, honey. Donna has found her niche, okay? So Donna is making an infused CBD dinner, getting them good and full. And here comes Tati asking about Rock and Crystal, okay? Because we already know it's been revealed on a few episodes ago that they're like messing around or that they're a couple, right? So Donna was like, I already knew that. Child, because listen, it's one thing you cannot pull over. You can't pull over nothing on a Virgo. We observe everything. Just sit back and be like, I already knew that, honey. So Donna was like, yeah, I already knew because they came to my dinner. Donna stay throwing an event, don't she? They came to her dinner and they were together trying to act like they were not together. So she said, but can we just talk about the fact that she's about to play him when the world opens up? And so Tati was like, oh yeah, she definitely about to play him. Crystal, I hope that's not true. But I mean, but it does kind of seem true because when he was saying he wanted to go public, you was like, no, I'm going to keep it on private, honey, like an Instagram page. I don't want everybody in my business. I don't want everybody in my business, honey. I don't need no likes. I'm good. I'm good on that, okay? So they started talking about that. Then here comes Tati toting a message because y'all know she's the Black Ink Crew carrier pigeon. She always toting messages, mess, gossip, all kinds of stuff. So she said, you remember when I told you that Walt broke into 125th? And Donna was like, okay, girl, honey, and so what? So she was like, well, I got the video. So she shows Donna the video, right? Donna said, that's not Walt. And I was expecting to look at this and think immediately that that was him, but it's not. Now, this is the part that's confusing me because Donna is really, really tight with Walter and Jess, okay? But at the same time, I'm trying to figure out why everybody else looks at it and says it is Walt, but when Donna looks at it, she says it's not. And because she's my Virgo sis, I mean, I might have to believe her, but I'm not quite sure. We'll get into it as we get into it. So Donna was like, that doesn't even look like him. Then Donna starts going off on this. Black Lives Matter. Don't presume him guilty before you know he's guilty. I feel like it's a little stereotypical to just say you see a skinny black man on a video and that's just Walt. I don't like it. I don't like it's not sitting well with me. Donna, let me get you together, honey. Black Lives Matter have nothing to do with Walt stealing and thieving, okay, from this man that he's worked for forever. It has nothing to do with him being selfish and taking something that is not owed to him. Black Lives Matter is something that you shouldn't just be throwing around for the sake of throwing it around because it sounds good because you sounded crazy. And that is my opinion. Now, y'all can put down what y'all feel in the comments, but in my opinion, don't just start yelling out, Black Lives Matter because a skinny black guy. No, they're looking. And then Crystal even said, you know, well, Walt came in the shop and he had those exact same clothes on the next day. So whether this is for a storyline or not, that line that they gave you to say, that was stupid, okay? Talking about some Black Lives Matter. Girl, don't try to intertwine the two. This man's stealing. You gonna put Black Lives Matter and him stealing in the same sentence? Girl, gone, honey. So anyway, she was like, I feel like Walt is just trying to impress Jess, you know, because maybe he's trying to let her see that he can take care of the household. Donna, you lost me right there, honey. Let's move on and then we'll be back. Over at Walt's house, he's acting like he ain't did nothing wrong, like everything's cool. Over there asking Jess, you want to go to the gym? Boy, you don't need to be having a gym membership right now, honey. The funds are low. That's probably the problem, honey. You giving all your money to Lifetime Fitness. If you cannot afford to go to the Planet Fitness and get your workout on, then you don't need to be doing it, honey. Still not the register to pay that membership. Child, you need to be sitting at this house and trying to figure out what you gonna do to prove you didn't steal or rob this man's business, honey. Now, C's is also not my favorite person because he treats Donna like crap and he treats majority of his employees like crap. If it were me, honey, I would have been gone. But, of course, Viacom is cutting the check. So we going to stay just for a little bit. Anyway, so he tells Jess, he was like, I thought everything was going to be cool, but now I got to tell Jess because, I don't want, the last thing you want is for your wife to just be worried. So you don't think your wife's going to be worried about the fact that now you have no job because they think you robbed them? Like, what? Try everybody confused. So he sits Jess down. He tells Jess about the tape and how he took money from the register. She said, why would you do that? He said, I wasn't trying to do it maliciously. WTF. That's all I got to say about that. And honey, listen to me. If I could cuss right now, I would cuss you the hell out, Walt. What you mean I didn't do it maliciously? It's only one way to be malicious. Like, what are you saying? I think what you're trying to say is I didn't do it on some dirty stuff. Like I'm trying to just go in there and rob them for the sake of robbing them because I don't like them. I was taking for my own financial gain. I guess that's what you're trying to say, honey. I'm trying to help you because it just sounds stupid. He's like, I got overwhelmed and then the child support came and I'm like, okay, Walt, like you really need to get yourself together. Child, oh my goodness, like this is just too much. He said, I don't know what they want me to do. I don't want Jess to think that I would do that. And my Lyft, I have my Lyft receipt and my Lyft gives the time that I left the shop. Well, why you keep saying that you will figure out how to prove it if you have proof? Like this all is not making no sense to me. So then the producers ask, well, do you still have the receipt? He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it should still be on file. What? Either you have the receipt or you don't. This is the same way men be talking when you end up finding out they're cheating. Honey, you have all the evidence right in front of you. They start stumbling, stuttering. I can tell you're lying because when you're replying, stutter, 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 stutter. Joe, if you don't go on, honey, so they don't know what to say. So the producer asks Walt, well, if you would like to show your Lyft receipt, then go ahead. Would you like to show it? Here go Walt. For what? I'll explain it to C's. I'll sit down and talk to C's and Ted, but I don't have to explain nothing to y'all. I'm not going to do it. Those are my friends. Those are not your friends because if they were your friends, then you would not be stealing. That's number one. Number two, stop trying to act like we're making you do something, honey. We're just trying to help you because if you can produce a receipt, then you've been exonerated, honey. Everything is good. You're all good in the hood, honey. Now we know you're not a thief. But quiet as it's kept, people in the streets are saying it looked like Alex, honey. And Alex did look like he was kind of sweating when they showed that video a little later. But I'm just saying. Now, Walt, if it wasn't you, then just say it wasn't you, honey. Hit him with a shaggy. It wasn't me, honey. Just tell him it wasn't you. So then he starts telling her about how he took it, but he was going to put it back, right? So she said, I feel like that's a slap in the face because I thought we had an understanding. So then the producers asked him again, do you feel any burden of proof to prove it wasn't you? He said, I'm not worried about that. When I sit down and talk to C's, that's when I'm going to sit down and talk to C's. You don't have any remorse. So therefore, and thus and such, I feel like you're lying. Okay. And that's just my opinion. I'm a bit confused as to how you can be so nonchalant about them thinking you robbed a place. Now, you could be playing this whole reverse psychology because we already know that when a person gets too hyped, 9 times out of 10, they're lying. When they try to overly explain themselves or when they try to really prove something, then they could be lying. But I don't know, Walt, honey. You're a shady character, child. You're looking like a shady character and you used to be my favorite, honey. So then, Jess was basically just saying, I'm embarrassed. And Walter starts turning on the waterworks and says, black ink is all he knows. And he was in survival mode. And she was like, we aren't those people anymore. You don't have to be in survival mode. Like, we're here. We're in this together. And then she said she was pissed off because she just wished he would have come to her. But she's not judging him because when she hit rock bottom, she did anything she could do. And she used to scam and sell drugs because she was a single mother. Now, this is the thing here. I'm a single mother. not judging anybody's choice on how they get their bag. But at the same time, I could be selling drugs instead of doing this YouTube. Honey, that's not an excuse. There's always a way to make a coin. I don't care if you have to work at a McDonald's. I don't care if you have to work at your local Walmart. Honey, I've worked in restaurants. I've scrubbed toilets. I've done whatever I had to do to take care of mine. So you saying you scam and sold drugs to hurt the community because you were a single mother, honey, no. I'm not going for that, child. But I'm glad you're not. I'm glad you're on the other side now. No judgment. But I'm just saying that's no excuse. So then we see Crystal and Rock, they're in the car, okay, over on their way to the whole little CBD dinner, okay, and they're talking about their relationship. And so Crystal said, I feel like the only reason why people are inviting us is so they can be nosy. Crystal, quiet as it's kept, we don't care, okay, and I'm sure they don't either. So, he was telling her, I'm not going to hurt you. I want to go public. And she's like, okay, make sure that we keep our business between us and we ain't breaking up because you ain't about to make me look stupid in these streets. Okay. So as long as we're together, everything's fine. If not, you're going to get an unwanted tattoo in the middle of the night. Moving forward. We go back over to Donna's house, honey, and she's still getting ready for the dinner. She and they're bossing Alex around, telling him where to go, how to turn his head, what to do, how many candies to put in a bowl. Honey, Donna is running him all up and through. So as she's doing that, Teddy shows up, dressed like an Eskimo, honey, dressed like he just got off the slopes. Child, so as he comes in, dressed like he just came back from the Swiss Alps, Donna is like, where's your girl? And he was like, well, it's me. I'm here. I'm by myself. She said, no. Where is Uni? Because I know for a fact that I invited y'all as a couple. So then Ted said, the reason why I didn't invite her is, as y'all know, I have a lot of history. Yes, we do, honey. Yes, we do. We know that you have a history, honey. You could open up an entire museum of thoughts, child. We know you have a history with everybody that has come through Black Ink, customers included, and a history with that couch. So we definitely know, honey. He was like, I didn't want to bring her to a history lesson. Well, honey, class is in session because Dawn looked over at Alex and was like, my man go to a history lesson every day, B. Donna, wait a minute. But when they panned over to Alex, the look on his face, Alex, if you don't pipe up, honey, and shut Donna down. Donna's such an alpha male, honey. And yes, I said male. Child, she be acting straight up like a man. Anyway, so then after that, Crystal and Rock come in and make their Black Ink, make it Black Ink official. Honey, it was so underwhelming. Nobody cared in the slightest except Tati because, she like mess. Okay, so she was just like, oh my God. Everybody else just looking. Then C shows up, solo dolo, and then Puma and Kwani, not to be confused with Shawnee from last review, child. I called that lady Shawnee for like an entire review, but I think I was thinking about Basketball Wives. Child, look, y'all just gonna have to keep up, honey. Y'all know who I was talking about, honey. Talking about her name is Shawnee, her name is Kwani, honey. I don't care, it rhymes, so it's good, child. We're fine. Anyway, so Caesar said, my boo couldn't come because she's in Atlanta showing houses. So I guess C's and Teddy are each other's dates. Kwani and Puma come in. Kwani is giving TLC T-Bar's realness, honey, with the hair. I know that's right, honey. Come on in, child. No more chasing waterfalls. Tell them, Kwani, honey. So then they come in, they have a seat. And so then Donna is over there, getting herself together. And so Donna said, I invited Walt, right? So Teddy said, he not coming, is he? Donna, you know from experience what happens when you bring unwanted guests to a dinner with Caesar and Teddy. Honey, got Alex back broke last time and physical therapy for almost a year. Speaking of, didn't Alex claim that the doctor said he would never tattoo again? Child, y'all be lying, honey. This is all scripted. Because I could have sworn that Alex was crying, blaming it on Donna. He didn't want nothing to have nothing to do with her and her thick thighs and her spandex wearing pants because he was upset that she brought him to that dinner to get him jumped. And then they said he couldn't tat again. Child, y'all be lying all the way up and through, honey. So she said, I told him not to come because I didn't want no drama. Good, because it would have been CBD juice all over that place, okay? Crabs flying everywhere. So Puma said, I went and I talked to Walt. So they was like, okay, well, how did that go? He said, the more I talked to him, the more pissed I got. And Puma said, I was listening to him and all these excuses, it just didn't make any sense. So then Puma starts going in and getting on his soapbox, talking about if you make a kid, you need to take care of Puma. Now, honey, you're starting to get on my nerves this episode because first of all, Don't get too far up on your high horse. You just made it back into the circle. Honey, Seeds will dispose of y'all in a minute. The only person he ain't never threw away is Teddy. And that's only because he gave him the seed money to start these shops, allegedly. Okay? Donna said, I feel like he's just trying to live outside his means. And Jess has a lot of responsibility. She has student loans. Honey, those are in forbearance, honey. None of us pay our student loans, child. Honey, they ain't gonna get that student loan money from me until I'm at least in my 50s. Okay? So they got a ways to go. Honey, call me all you want to. You're not going to get an answer, and you're not going to get a dime, honey. I'm just saying, honey, blame it on COVID. So then she's like, yeah, and she has kids and all this. So then Puma comes in with his shade, honey. He said, yeah, I got kids too, and they live with me. Okay, Puma, I'm with you on that, honey. Ain't no kids in that house. It's just him and Jess, and they, jet setting and going all off to the Dominican Republic and doing all this, so they should be able to pay for their, expenses. But Donna, you a real one, honey, because you got their back. Behind their backs and in front of their face. I commend you for that. So they start going in on Donna's seafood and they love it. Donna makes a toast and tells C's, she thanks him for the support. And then she starts naming everybody, honey. Bobby, Ralph, Ricky, Mike, Ralph, and Johnny too, honey. She named everybody from Belle Biv DeVoe, honey, New Edition, all of them. I'm like, girl, just say I thank everybody. She's like, I want to thank Tati, Puma, Teddy, Caesar, I want to thank Duchess, even though she's not here anymore. I want to thank Kat. I want to thank Crystal. I want to thank Rock. Like, girl, okay, we got it, honey. Donna says she finally found her thing. Honey, who knew Donna could cook? Then we see Bae over at the, in her own little space. And she says she feels so much better getting to know herself again. And, she was in New York alone. But then when she met the Black Ink family, then she always had people surrounding her and she loved it. Now that she's been on lock for almost a year, she's ready to get back at it. Okay, so it's the day of the coat drive, and C's put Tati in charge. Honey, the coats have wings because child stuff is flying everywhere. Okay, it's a real windy day up in the NYC. But you know what? The reason why I think I like this season is because this is like the third episode, or like the second or third episode they've done something for the community. The first episode was the tattoos for the essential workers. Then they did the whole they did something else after that. I can't remember what it was. And now they're doing the coat drive. So I really like where this is going. And it's good to see them giving back. That's a really good and important part of this season. So Steves gives a speech and said Donna and Alex were absent. Puma said Donna and Alex have been everywhere all over the state, honey, and all over the world. And COVID is still running rapid. So they might need to stay away. Just as they're passing out the coats, then here comes young Bae. Honey, she walks up. C said, seeing young Bae was like a sight for sore eyes. It's like the relative you didn't know you wanted to see, but you're happy that they're back. So Ted said him and Bae are really tight. Honey, Ted loves him a pretty Asian woman, don't he, honey? He loves it. Tati talks to C's about, potentially having more of a role at Black Ink and the fact that she has proved herself and she feels like she isn't the same person. But we all know C's ain't going to do nothing for Tati or Donna. You know what? I'm kind of thinking C's may be a little misogynistic because if you think about it, the women in his shop, they don't really play an important part in the actual shop. Child, listen to me, honey. I done had a light bulb moment. C's, let me find out. Anyway, Tati said, she appreciates the opportunity, but she still wants more. And then she said, look, if I'm still a receptionist a few months from now, I got to bounce. Honey, you ain't going nowhere. We'll see you next season. So then Jess shows up to the shop because now C's, Puma, and Tati are back in the shop. just chilling. And she pulls up and Tati said, I wasn't expecting that. So Jess says, Walt told me about the robbery. And C's was like, he makes good money, but I mean, where is it going? Then she said, well, let me see the video. So Puma said, and I don't mean Richard, honey. Because if you've been watching Black Ink, then was one of the cast members and he used to tap, but his real name is Richard. So anyway, as Puma is getting, this is what I didn't like. I didn't appreciate this, Puma, because I don't know what you're trying to prove. Okay, it doesn't matter. This is this girl's husband. So let me tell you something. I'm going to hold mine down. If they come asking me any questions, honey, mum's the word. I'm just telling you. So he goes to get the phone so he can show her the video, right? And so then Puma said, how was the DR? And she was like, it was great. Everything besides the curfew. He was like, well, how did y'all get out there? And she was like, we took a plane. And then I guess it dawned on her. She said, are you asking me if I paid for it? He said, yeah. She said, yes, I paid for it. Okay, now, if y'all had money to travel in the middle of a pandemic, you have money enough not to steal. That's just my thing. But Puma, you were wrong for the way you're asking this lady this. Like, don't do that. Honey, don't do that. You wouldn't want nobody asking Kwani/Shawnee if she stole something, now would you? Or if she paid for a trip, don't do that. So then she says, yeah, I paid for it. Child, and listen, another thing too, Walt, I'm not buying the child support stuff. We were in the middle of COVID. No arrests were being made. Everything was put on hold. So people were losing their jobs and everything else. So I'm sure that they would have understood that you could not pay at the time. Okay. And Jess, you lying too, honey. You know you didn't pay for that. Y'all got that money out there registering. Y'all went to the DR, okay? Because he was trying to act like a big shot and really didn't have it. But she is not about to let her husband just throw her husband under the bus like that, honey. And I get that. But Walt needs some help. Jess looked at the tape and said, nah, this ain't even him because Walt bow-legged. Now listen, I watched over and over and over to see if I saw him looking like he rides horses or if his legs look like they had parentheses, and I didn't see him being bow-legged. I just didn't see it. But I mean, I guess it's just her, honey. I don't know. So C said, you know, if you lie, then you steal. If you steal, then you kill, honey. That's like a grandma saying. Everybody knows that. The grandmas tell you that all the time, honey. If you steal, you'll kill. If you lie, you'll cheat. I'm just saying. So the fact of the matter is he still stole whether he robbed or not. So then he tells Jess, you know, just let him know that him at Black Ink, it's a wrap. Okay. Donna comes over to Walt's house, right, in the next scene, just to see how he's doing and everything. And so Jess is still holding on to hope that one day that he and C's will make up. So Donna shows up. Donna threw me all off in this whole scenario, child. So my stuff might be all over the place because she said so much. I was just so confused. So she was like, you know, I heard so many rumors or whatever. I just had to come make sure y'all were okay. So Donna comes straight in with, let's get to it. I saw the video and I don't feel like that video is Walt. And so then Jess was like, yeah, because he's bow-legged. Here go Alex, who allegedly it might be. Talking about, yeah, he is bow-legged. Boy, you don't know. Boy, hush. Anyway, so Walter starts going off about, I got a credit score of 730. I'm not talking about no Credit Karma. All right, now, Walt, honey, don't hate on Credit Karma because on Credit Karma, I'm looking like something, okay? On Credit Karma, I am looking like I got a black card. On FICO, I'm looking like I need to be on the unemployment line. But I'm just saying, I am looking like something on Credit Karma, so don't try to talk about Credit Karma. Credit Karma make you feel good about your score, honey. I'm just saying, we need that. Child, I'm talking about he got a 730 and he ain't talking about Credit Karma. And then he starts going on and on about all these odd jobs he was doing. Talking about I was telling jokes, selling hats, building houses. I was down there making cars. If you were doing all that, you wouldn't have to steal off that register. Boy, gone, honey. I don't want to hear all that. So Donna was like, okay, well, you need to lose that attitude because it's seeming like you don't have no remorse. Child, Walt ain't got no remorse for this, honey. He said what he said and he ain't changing it. But I do have a question. Okay, I do have a question because this dawned on me. If Walter is a key holder, which means that he has the keys to go inside of Black Ink, why would he need to break in? Wouldn't you just use your key? But then I thought about that and I said, well, why would you use your key? Because then, you know, you're trying to make a scene. So if you're making a scene and the money is gone, then it would appear somebody stole it. But if he just came in with a key and then he took the money, you know, he would be all on camera and all this kind of stuff. So it's really, child, it's such a catch-22. I don't know who's telling the truth and who's not. Donna said, you know, if you would have come to C's, then he wouldn't have done nothing. No way. Honey, she didn't say it like that, but she was like, he wouldn't have done anything. Or if he would have done it, it would have taken him weeks or months, or he wouldn't have done it at all. So, Donna, you mean to tell me he should steal because C's was going to take too long? Girl, what are you saying, honey? That man don't owe him nothing. If he comes to him and he asks him, it doesn't matter how long he takes. You need to wait because it's someone else's money. Donna, you're not making no sense. To see, this is why C's always going off on you. Honey, I don't know if it's just me, but that didn't make any sense to me. So then she said, why does C's get to ride around in Benz trucks and buy houses and wear chains? It's his business, girl. It's his business. When you start your CBD business and you have a freestanding store or whatever you're going to do, sell it online, go door to door, you know, put together CBD food parties, whatever you're going to do. If you use that, I want my credit. You know, whatever you do, then you get to ride around and get it, honey. Ride around in your Rolls Royce. Are you going to cry in the Honda or in the Rolls Royce? You decide that. But girl, you can't count this man's money. And see, that's what I'm saying. People will count your money. Let me tell y'all something. When my YouTube pick up, I'm still broke. I ain't got it. Okay. I ain't, and nobody watching the ads. I'm not making no money. Cause you know what? People will watch your money and then they'll do what Donna is doing in this very scene. Donna, I know you're doing that CBD, honey, but is it laced with something? Because then you start telling him, you know, you have a right to black ink. You have a right to the black ink name. You helped him build it. You've been there for 20 years. Girl, he does not owe him any. I have worked on a job for 15 plus years. I can't go to them and say, I'm about to get that store over on 4th Street because I've been here for 15 years. So you know what? I'm owed that store. It doesn't work like that. Donna? Child. Girl, hush. She was like, you deserve some of the pie. And she was like, he built the shop out for our backs. And this is a whole thing that you have. This is something that's going on with you, Donna. This is what you feel. And so Walt said, you know, Walt said his confessional. He said, I have some problems with C's, but I don't personally have any issues. You know, he has some issues with me not believing that the stuff is true about me not breaking into the shop. Because listen, honey, Walter don't want to lose his job. Walt wants to stay at Black Ink. Okay. He's waiting on C's to calm down. Cause we all know C's gonna calm down with his little crusty lips and he gonna calm down. And then after a little while, he gonna want to hear what you gotta say. But the way Donna going about it, Donna is like, you need to come and get some of this pie. You need to go tell him that you own part of Black Ink, even though you stole from him. Child, Donna is half crazy. So then Donna was like, you know, I appreciate C's, you know, supporting me at my dinner or whatever, but something about the Walt situation just don't sit right with me. You know, C's banned Walt, but they built Black Ink off for our backs. So make it make sense. Walter was working for Caesar. Caesar was doing plenty of things for Walter to help him in seasons past when Black Ink was actually a real show and it wasn't scripted for VH1. Okay. They are real friends outside of the cameras, outside of this show. Okay. The original before we even saw Donna on the scene was Caesar, Puma, Walt, Sassy, Teddy. These are all the people who were with Black Ink from the start. Donna, don't start that mess, girl. Do not start that. So then Donna says, how stupid can we be to keep working for another person? Girl, listen, we know COVID has got you, you know, we know COVID and Instagram have got you in the entrepreneurial spirit, honey, and you want to make your own, you want to do your own, you want to come with your own. That's all good. But please don't drag Walt into this, honey. He got enough problems. And Walter, you need to have some remorse sitting up there talking about, I don't know what y'all want me to do. What y'all want me to say? We want you to say that you robbed them. You're completely sorry for what you did, and you will stay away because you know you were wrong. Allegedly. If you did it. If you did not do it, please come with that lift receipt, honey. Fax it to him or email. All right. So that is the conclusion of this review. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and you had a little bit of a kiki at some point in the review. If you have, don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.